okay, I myself, I'm also a micro influencer. So I also do,
Get it.
quite a fair bit of all your reels and posts and whatnot. And people don't realize, right, that when the product is free, the product is you. So social media is free for everybody to use. So the product is you. So at the end of the day, how do you actually become happy about what you're actually doing? So hi guys, I'm Ming Yang and welcome to this episode of Clean Your Toilet podcast. So this is me and I'm joining together with
Barbara. My name is Barbara. I am a event MC, presenter, voiceover artist, a little bit of everything, What's that term? Jack of all trades, master of none. Do a little bit of everything. That's how we have to survive the world nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So Ming, what do you do?
Okay, so for me myself, I'm in the film industry, so I do film production. Mainly heavily more on video, I'd say. I started out in photography actually. Started out doing film photography, and I was actually during the digital age already. So I think that was during the the whole Casey Neistat era. You see Casey Neistat running around with like your Canon 5D around New York streets, and there and then I thought I actually wanted to start doing playing around with cameras. So I thought like what a better way to learn it through film, like the old school way, like the proper way.
Film.
So yeah, like film cameras. I have like a lot of sprockets at home, all the strips. So I used to do those like. I'll like take a photo, then I'll write down on my notebook like, okay, how was today's sky like? The clouds was like, okay, not too bad, the kind of thing. And then I'll just like develop all the photos, then I'll see like what outcome I got.
Was this something that you always knew you wanted to, like an industry that you studied for and wanted to be in? Or was it you studied and did other completely different things and then came into this?
It was more of I'd say an accidental slip into the industry.
How?
Yeah. So kind of funny story. So how I did it was or rather how I ended up here was I was during school. I was doing media. Restart. So during university, we were doing the University for Communications. I was doing a communications degree.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, good.
In Singapore?
Yeah,
or
Singapore.
Overseas?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was more about, like handling HR, PR kind of stuff, not really like media production per se. But like I think one of the course, like project works that we had to do had like a lot of, so we were given a choice by our professor, like, are you going to be doing, you could do like a news, like podcast kind of scenario. You could do a radio.
Oh, was this when podcast was already a thing? Or not as much of a thing as...
I think not yet.
Okay,
yeah, but these were like open options for us to choose. So we were like having choices between like campaigns, like newspaper campaigns, print ads, or you're going to be doing like events. So something to do to rile people up for a certain marketing campaign per se.
Okay.
So we had options. And lo and behold, video was also one of the options. Then there and then was when we decided like, okay, cool. So let's do video then. I think it was a group of 5 of us. We all like jointly decided to do video.
Okay.
So I went ahead and told the professor, okay, like, hey prof, we're going to be doing a video. Came back to my team and then we were like, okay, it's confirmed, we're going to be doing a video. And after that, then everyone was like, okay, cool. So who's the one who knows how to do video here? Then like nobody raised our hands, like in a group of 5 of us. Then we were like, so which idiot suggested to do video?
You're like, sorry, it was me.
So I think like, it was like kind of mentioned a bit here and there. So it wasn't like exactly me also that said, hey, let's do video, or at least not what I recall. But
selective retention?
Selective memory maybe. But I think from there, right, then I was like, okay, since I do some like travel photography, travel around and take some nice like scenic photos and like, have like a tiny little like chocolate bar camera kind of thing. So I thought like, I guess maybe I could try something. So then that's when I started to learn how to do video production. I decided to, just like bite the bullet, bought like I think Final Cut Pro on Apple Mac at that point in time because that was like the most
one
available I had.
Yeah.
And I took like 2 weeks to learn how to edit videos.
2 weeks, that's
like
not bad.
YouTube tutorials. I was like just like trying out, pressing buttons,
Yeah.
messing up. Then I'll like close the project, bin it, and then like start a new project, that kind of thing.
Bin it.
Yeah, because I was like, it was so messed up, right? I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
I messed up also with all the program windows and the settings and things like that. So I was like, okay, let's just uninstall this program and like try again. But hey, it was fun. And like, yeah, from then on, that's how I got started into this whole like media production stuff. Yeah, then went to advertising. I was in advertising firms, then after that advertising agencies. Then I decided to specialize. Then that's when I went deeper into like film production, video production. Yeah.
So what kind of, do you do films now? Is it commercial? Is it
I used to
like
do a lot of
doco?
so I used to do a lot more commercials, I'd say. So I used to so like fun fact, actually a lot of those are some of those are McDonald's commercials you saw. Yeah, the editings are actually done by me. So I'm the editor behind the commercials actually.
No way. That is cool.
Then
I love McDonald's. Not gonna lie.
I think like it was fun because shooting McDonald's was fun, but then like it came to a point whereby it got a bit more what do you call it? Well, how to say okay, because right, like when we're shooting the commercials, you have like tons of fries there, like truckloads of fries, right? Then you just keep frying fries nonstop.
Yeah.
Man, you're not gonna eat McDonald's for the next like 2-3 weeks.
No.
You'll be like, this smell. No, yeah. I couldn't find a name for the expression, but yes. Yeah. But I think like after that, from the film production side, then that's when I felt really, really sick because I was pushing myself very, very hard.
Oh?
Yeah, I wanted to see a certain level of success within me.
Were you with agencies at that point?
At that point, I was actually in agency.
We've all heard the phrase like the agency burnout is real.
Yeah.
Like you have no life when you work with an agency.
Yeah.
Is it true?
To a certain extent, yeah, actually, yes, I would say true. I mean, in the end of the day, it's how you describe life, right? And I felt like actually when I went to a film production, the life actually got kind of a lot. Like I guess some people would say it's worse because you're more like heavily involved and you're more like there. You give your whole life and your whole purpose to the film production.
More groundwork.
Yeah, more groundwork. You spend a lot more time there. But at the same time, like what is it that you want out of your life, right? Like what do you find actually truly enjoyable? So yes, I think like I feel a lot of people, yes, we can say like, oh, yes, I work like crazy, but like you realize they actually say that, yeah, they work like mad, they work long hours, but yet they feel very fulfilled. And I mean, there's also the opposite end of the spectrum whereby like people work a lot and they do not feel fulfilled at all.
Yeah, I understand.
So I feel like for me during agency life was pretty fun, pretty interesting. I learned quite a lot. Really trial by fire because I wasn't very specialized at what I was doing.
Trial by fire.
So I think
I love that term.
Yeah. So I think my direct superiors didn't really like me, and I had like a lot of like really learning along the way. So then after that, I decided to feel like, I felt like this really wasn't my calling. This really wasn't what I was happy doing per se. Neither was I really skilled at doing it. So I thought like, hey, I want to find something. I want to find joy. So back to my university route, then that was when I realized, roots rather, that's when I realized, hey, let's do camera work once again. So I decided to specialize, go into film production. Yeah, that was really, really great how I was brought, like, I think I was very blessed, I'd say, very blessed and very lucky to be able to enter a really good film production house. And I got to learn a lot of the do's and don'ts, whatnot, the right way to run stuff, which was actually what I wanted to learn.
What made you realize that you were burning out? Because I think a lot of people don't realize that we are burnt out until it's too late.
Wow.
So
okay,
I think one of the things I would love to know is how did you realize that you were burnt out or that you weren't getting joy from the agency work, and how scary was it for you to make that change? I know you said you were lucky and you managed to get into a good production house, but change is hard. Change is hard, right?
Yeah. So I think like for me, I've always lived with this certain mantra in my life whereby, like, if we're not giving, I try to, like, I mean, yes, it's theoretically speaking, you can't push past 100%, right? Because 100% is your max. But I always had this viewpoint that, like, as we do more, as we do like 100%, we do 120% for every single project that we do, then that 120% or like that 100% of work that we're actually doing soon becomes our norm. Like that becomes our norm, our 50%, our passing mark. You understand what I mean?
I
right?
understand. I had this conversation, which was what I realized, because I live in Australia now, and you know, their life is like, it's a lot more chill.
Yeah.
There's more work-life balance, whereas in Singapore, it's work-life integration. You integrate your work into your life.
Yeah.
And what I realized after moving was that, unfortunately, in Singapore, and it's just the way the country has to be for the level of growth that it's had, we don't realize that we've grown comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it just becomes the way of life and how it is. And then you move away and you're like, oh, is this what it feels like to breathe? Is this what having a life outside of work and not being completely all consumed by work feels like? So did you feel that you would just keep pushing 100%, 120%, 150%?
I think, like, while pushing myself, right, I really value the self-growth. But on the other hand, self-growth and happiness aren't actually exactly correlated, I'd say. Right? Like, you can be very skilled in what you do, but you may not be very happy with what, like where you're currently at.
Okay.
So I feel like self-growth, how do I explain? Like, okay, sorry, not really self-growth and happiness, more of like your level of skill and happiness may not be like directly correlated.
Yeah.
So I felt like in this process, the way how I found out that I'm burnt out is when I feel that I am unhappy and clueless of what I want to do, what I want to proceed towards with. However, I do feel like the main part is the long-standing unhappiness that we have, that we know that, hey, this is not like where I feel like I want to be at and I'm pretty burnt out.
It's not serving me.
Yeah, it's not serving me. And I feel like at the end of the day, a job is a job, right? Like when we pass away, or like, let's say, I mean, in a more morbid term, if we die, that job is going to become an open slot. Someone is just going to come in, fill in that spot. And like, hey, business still continues to run.
Yep.
Right? So then what are we actually getting out of this system? And like, what are we actually doing for ourselves to know that, hey, I'm growing a lot better, deeper, understanding myself better, as well as knowing that this life is well lived. So I think I base it a lot of like being burnt out. Also, I mean, like, one of the ways I also like to tell myself is like, not say I tell myself, like, that I realize is when I fall really sick. I always get the holy trinity of sickness, I call it, when I'm like burnt out. So it's a cough, fever, flu, the holy trinity. So that's when I know, like, oh, okay, the body can't take it, as to like the physical body cannot handle what the mind wants to achieve, I feel. But that's one form of burnout, right?
Yeah.
And then we do have like the other form of burnout where like we feel aimless, we don't really know what to do, or we don't feel happiness. And
Emotional
I feel like,
burnout.
Yeah. At the same time, I do feel it's possible to be happy with what we're doing. But sometimes, hey, here and there, we do hit a rough spot and we feel a bit aimless. But do you call that burnout? I mean, for me, no, I don't really consider that as burnout. But it's just, like recalibration, getting yourself back right on track.
So how would someone kind of figure out the difference between, am I burnt out, or am I just like a little bit tired and just need to check in with myself a little bit?
Yeah, and I think for that, I would actually view whether we are like, whether we have prolonged unhappiness. Yeah, if we have like prolonged unhappiness, bitterness, we hate ourselves for a pretty long time, then I think, hey, maybe you're burnt out after all. Yeah.
And I guess it comes down to emotional intelligence, for one, being able to check in with yourself and ask yourself the tough questions. And even if you don't have the answer to them, being able to have that conversation with other people. And also emotional regulation. Like for me, I know it's time to have a conversation with a professional when I realize I'm not managing my emotions well. I'm not regulating. I know what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling them, but I'm not able to regulate my reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really being the person that I pride myself in being.
Okay.
Which means, yep, okay. At this point, I am struggling with my emotional regulation. And the last thing I want to do is take it out on the people that I love. Therefore, I need to have a good chat with someone and just work through it and recalibrate.
Yeah.
So when you made the change, was it scary?
Was it scary? No, actually, because I was pretty looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I always told myself that, hey, if we are always constantly wanting to grow and improve, change is going to be the only constant, right? So we have to get used to change after all. So I felt like over there I feel like mindset is very important also. When we set ourselves right, when we have the right value systems in place and the right grounding factors, then I feel like, hey, living life becomes a lot happier, I feel. Yeah.
And was there much, I wouldn't say pushback because we're adults at the end of the day, but financially, did you take a hit?
Financially,
we all know that the production life is, we're not exactly rolling in the dollar bills unless you are the top dog, right? Unless it's your company and whether it's production. I used to have a very strong interest in events management. When I was in Poly, I did my internship there and I was like, yeah, long hours. I don't care. I do all the saikang work. I don't care, right? I love doing this.
Yeah.
But then it was also that battle between, I realized that being hired as the MC pays way more than being the one who's doing the setup and the tear down and dealing with all the client briefs. And I enjoy that way more than I enjoy the organization side of things. But when I was seriously considering events management, even at the age of 20, I understood that it was not a feasible career if I wanted to have children and a family and be able to cook dinner and spend time with them. And I wouldn't be making bank unless I had my own company.
Yeah.
So in terms of the production stuff, like agency life, and then going into more production-oriented stuff, and I know it's a different scape for men and women in terms of career trajectories and how you make your choices.
Yeah.
But have there ever been times when you've taken on work that has been fueled by passion but hasn't really lined your pockets?
Yeah. Yes. And I feel like now even more so because unfortunately, what I feel more broke now than
that's just adulting, man. Be an adult, they said. It'll be fun, they said. No one said you'll be perpetually broke.
Yeah. Like, I mean, being an adult allows you to eat ice cream in the middle of the day, but you're still broke.
But can we afford the nice ice cream or are we going to buy like the tub?
Yeah, that's why. So I think like because from the film production side, I felt like actually I was doing pretty well, I'd say. I enjoyed what I was doing. I was earning pretty good, decent buck actually from it.
Nice.
Also because I'm sorry, my previous film production houses, but I was like also like doing freelance gigs outside during weekends, whatnot. So
hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. The hustle is real.
Yeah, I really wanted to hustle very hard. So then I earned quite a fair bit. But after that, I decided to come out and start my own business. Then
bye.
Like waste money.
I cannot afford ice cream anymore. Never mind, let's go McDonald's.
Even McDonald's price increased also for ice cream.
Tell me about it.
So I think from then on, because I started my own business, then yes, you call it a business, but at the same time, I felt like just more of like doing my own thing. I call it, not really like I say a business per se, although actually it is. But like, from there, you have to like spend a lot of money on like equipment, investments, marketing, whatnot. Then I'm like, oh dang, just what did I get myself into? Like,
You're starting to doubt yourself?
Yeah, there was a
Sometimes?
form of doubt also, yes, because I had to do things that I weren't skilled at doing.
Like
like
what?
handling a lot of like the producer side of stuff, timelines, budgeting, paperwork, which I totally hated.
Yeah.
One, hated, two, sucked at it. So it was like, no go. But like, hey, when you're running your own stuff, right? Until it comes to a point of a certain point of stability that you can really hire people to run everything or find even a good partner in this foray, right? Then can we actually push forward faster and better? And like I can actually hands off the stuff that I suck at. But hey, for now, yeah, I'd say still struggling and finding and learning along the way, but it's good learning lessons still. Because what I couldn't do previously was also like handle a lot of the proper budgeting and stuff like that. In a film production house, you are more specialized. I was an editor, so I did purely editing. I didn't care about budgets whatsoever.
You go in, you do your job, you ciao.
Yeah, like your main aim was just to achieve the best outcome possible for every single project. At least I felt like that was my aim.
Yeah.
But now when I handle projects, it's like, hey, what about budgets? Like what do clients think about it? Like how do you approach and find new clients, that kind of thing. And like I've never had to do all these. So it was a pretty good learning lesson on my end, which I felt like actually I needed to learn also. Yeah.
So do you have full-time staff now?
Full-time staff now, nope, I don't have. But I do have two photographers that I work very closely with. We meet like almost on an every week basis kind of
So
thing.
you're like constant contractors and vendors that you will bring in on a regular basis for projects.
Yeah, we work together pretty closely on a lot of the projects. Yeah, so I
Then
like...
who handles your budgets and accounts? You
Me.
said you hate it.
Yeah, I have to do it now myself. Yeah. So I felt like, until I can find until things, really take off on a good side. And I mean,
Okay.
like, it doesn't help also, right? Like coming out, I think I started my own business during COVID, which wasn't the brightest of times.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So it was pretty difficult. Like the road gets pretty rough, I'd say, at the start.
Was there like a light bulb moment during COVID? Because even me and my partner's business, it was a COVID baby as well.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
COVID business, not a physical baby. Yeah.
Oh, so cool. You have a partner in your business.
Well, it's mainly his. I'm just like his main support system.
Aw.
It's different, right? Working with a partner, creating that segregation between home and work life,
Yeah.
which is tricky, and we try and navigate it the best we can with pulse checks when we
Yeah.
check in with each other and say like, hey, what can I do? Are you feeling any kind of way? Am I feeling any kind of way? Can we address this now? Is this a good time? Do we talk about work when we're at home? Or do we talk about home stuff when we're at the warehouse?
Yeah.
I think there was once when something had happened with a family friend and I was feeling all sorts about it. And then I was just like, oh, this has happened. And he didn't know how to respond because we were at work in work mode.
Oh.
So
Okay.
working with a partner is a whole different ball game, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, I think setting boundaries is the difficult part.
very important.
And then being on the same page as your partner.
Constantly.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm married.
Oh, you're married?
Yeah, I'm married. So, yeah. And my wife does her own business also, has her own business. So I think, like, it gets sometimes a bit iffy because how we run and how we think we want to run business is very different.
Is she also in the production side or
No,
media?
she's in styling, color analysis, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think when there are different values, then I feel that's when the
Of how you
issues
run your
arise.
business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you guys manage that? I mean, when it comes to, I guess because you're not working together in the same business.
Yep. Nope. Different business altogether.
Do you think you could work together in the same business?
Wow.
Wifey, don't watch this. It's okay.
She did watch the previous podcast though. I'd say...
He says whatever he says with love.
Yeah, I think that's a very important part that you mentioned also, about speaking with love. Yeah. And having the other person's, considering the other person's, like, thoughts as well as their heart feelings. I think it's very, very important. As in both in our like marriage life as well as in our normal work partnership life.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I've realized that at the end of the day, when you have a partner for life, right, and you marry someone, from my experience, right, you've got men and they have this persona of, you know, I am the man and I provide and I do this and I do that. And we have our gender roles, which are pretty flexible. Like if a light bulb needs to be changed, I can change it.
Yeah.
I don't have to rely on the man for it.
Yeah.
But the way men open up to one another is very different from the kind of man that they are at home with their wife. Because they have now agreed to spend the rest of their life with this woman.
Yeah.
What they tell their friends or their family members is completely different from how they will behave around their wife, because they have now completely entrusted their heart and their soul and their emotions with this other human being. And it's vice versa with women as well, right? We will say things and I will do this and I will do that. And, you know, I would approach things this way. But our guard is completely down with this person that we have decided to be a team member with for the rest of our life. And I've realized that observing other couples and different generations, sometimes when you see couples lashing out at each other, it's because they are so comfortable. It doesn't come from a place of annoyance or nitpicking. You're like, why is my partner constantly nagging at me? Why are they being so tough on me? It's not coming from a place of nitpicking. It's coming from a place of, I have no guard around you, therefore I can express my emotions in that way. And it's never with ill intent, right? Because you love that person so much. But when it comes to you guys running two different businesses, is there ever that overcross? Because you have the commonality of you're running your own businesses.
Yeah.
How do you navigate the wedding, not the wedding, sorry, but the marriage partnership and going through essentially a similar journey of running your own businesses, but in different spectrums?
Well, I feel like, for me and my wife, I feel like I feel like the good part is that we're very similar, but the bad part is that we're also very similar.
How?
So, we end up experiencing life together and, you know, living life in a very, like happy-go-lucky manner. Like, you know, like Que Sera kind of like mentality. But then after that, we realized like, hey, now, like where we are at, we realize that we need some form of also guidance. And, you know, like, for example, maybe like having a marriage counselor and being involved in our lives so that we know how to better lead a marriage life, for example. Like, okay, honestly speaking, we don't have a joint bank account.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and like some couples do, some people don't, some believe in the idea, some don't. But like the problem is that like, do I feel like I need a joint bank account? The answer that I have now, it's I don't know. So then to me, that becomes an issue because it's something that I don't know. I don't have an exact answer for. So
how does your wife feel about a joint bank account? Is it something she wants?
I think she says like it's something that is better to have. So I think do
you guys have kids yet?
Nope. Thankfully not.
Wow.
I said, okay,
escalated quickly.
We want to have kids. We want to have kids, but not currently right now. Plus, I think also because we have a bit of that, like, you know, very playful kind of mindset. She has like her bags that she wants to buy, and I have like, for me, I'm a car guy, so I like all the car stuff.
Yeah.
So then end up, right, you know, like we each all have our playgrounds that we want to upgrade and grow, right? Yeah. And then what about
and you
kids?
guys are still young,
that kind
right?
of thing. 33 this year.
Okay.
34.
Both of you?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
You know,
How
so
about you?
I'm 34.
Oh, cool.
34.
Wow, same.
Yeah.
Wow.
91.
Hey, I'm 92.
92. You're 33 this year, right?
Oops. Means I'm 33 this year.
Quick math.
Yeah, which I've clearly failed during schooling times.
But do you ever feel like, I still feel like I'm in my 20s. Late 20s max.
Wow, really?
I don't
Like why? Like why do you say so though? Like what makes you feel
I just feel like I haven't grown up sometimes. Like I'm still riding through that 20s phase. Body-wise, I mean, with the amount of cracks and aches and injuries, I definitely feel like I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
But internally, I think there's still that playfulness, like what you mentioned, right? That playfulness of that joy of being young. And I think it's so great that you guys are able to establish that you have your own playgrounds.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like while we have our own playgrounds, right, and then we see what's happening outside, right? Like, oh, people have joint bank accounts. They are like, what do you call it? Like planning for babies, whatnot. And you see how society is like, or like the perfect model example of a couple. That kind
Societal expectations.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we're like, hey, like how exactly closely are we supposed to be following that? And I mean, like on my end, I'm also wondering, I mean, for me, I always lead my life as to like, the one is having head knowledge, right? And then it's two having heart knowledge. So then like how personally convinced are you that this is the right way forward? So I felt like, it'll be helpful to us now. I mean, like both me and my wife, we feel that like it's possibly good to have someone in our lives now that can probably guide us along the way and ask us some like guiding questions.
So like a counselor?
Yeah, like a counselor, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's something you guys have explored? If you don't mind me asking.
Not yet. I mean, like we're currently exploring actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Just started like last week.
Yeah.
By current, it's 1 week.
I appreciate you mentioning this because I think it's quite difficult for men to talk about going for counseling.
Okay.
Not a lot of guys like to... I think more men are appreciating that seeing a counselor is helpful.
Yeah.
But it's not openly talked about. And some couples might be like, if there's nothing wrong, see a counselor for what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But then you also have certain faiths where it's a due part of getting married. If you're going to get married, I think it's some Christian churches, like if you're going to get married, you have to go through X amount of sessions with the pastor or priest before you actually have the wedding. Yeah. Which helps you to talk about things as a couple that you might not have yet spoken about. Yeah. I think that's very cool of you guys.
Yeah. So actually for me and my wife, yes, we are both married Christian church. So yeah, we did go through exactly
what you
mentioned. Yeah.
How was that?
And actually I felt it was pretty helpful actually, because I feel a lot of times how a lot of unhappiness broods in the first place is because of the misalignment of values as well as certain way of doing things. And I mean, the way how we do things in the end still boils down to the values that we have. Yeah. So I felt like the counseling way and the teaching way and like guiding you through proper steps, I think it was pretty long, I think it was like 6-7 sessions of like marriage
it's quite a lot,
counseling,
right?
like pre-marriage counseling, they call it. And it was very, very helpful because it started to learn, and I think it created like kind of a safe space also that like, because a lot of other couples were also going through it together. It's not like a male and female with pastor kind of situation. It was like 10-20 couples at one go. And then like when we get together, we talk about things or we share with each other as well as cross-share sometimes. It allows a certain level of openness and like the ability to kind of break down your barriers in front of other partners or other couples. Rather.
Other couples.
Yeah. And then we realize, hey, wow, like you face this difficulty or you face that difficulty. Then
we're not alone.
Like, yeah. It's like a bit like, like group thinking, like, hey, let's do life together. Let's solve things together. Yeah. Kind of a mindset. So I felt like it was actually pretty helpful in guiding us. But I think like it's after that, right? A lot of times after an amazing event that we have, then what happens after that? Like what keeps it going. So I felt like, actually, I mean, they did sound out. They did say like, hey, if you guys want to, we can have like marriage counselors, that kind of thing. Then I was like, it's the norm, it's the usual stuff. Yeah. But now, all the more I realized that, hey, actually, yeah, we do need someone to guide you along the way, I'd say. Yeah.
And bring it back to career-wise. Yeah. I'm just very curious in terms of the production side of things, running your own company. How do you feel about the advancements in technology that we've had and the fact that essentially everyone is a cinematographer now.
Yeah.
Like, does your craft bear the brunt of it? I can only imagine that you'd be like, wow, not everyone's a cinematographer, you know?
Yeah.
Do budgets take a hit? Do client expectations take a hit? How do you handle these?
Yeah, I think like now the barriers to entry to enter this whole film production stuff is a lot lower, I'd say, and it's constantly getting lower.
Yeah.
Anybody can just hold a camera and they're like, hey, you know, they can produce some decent work.
Yeah.
Which to me, do I view it as a bad thing? For my job, yes. But for the greater like purpose of life, no. Because it's like, hey, now people can actually record like family vacations having like not so shaky footage, right? As compared to previously, like people didn't have access to such. So I think to me that's already a very big benefit to people, to life. So I think like I feel it's easy to feel that like, hey, you know, people, like your jobs are getting snatched away. And I think like one common pet peeve I guess I have is that like this term cinematographers is like way overused. Like people don't realize the meaning behind a cinematographer. Because after all, coming from but then again, that's also because of my upbringing. Because I was like, like in my previous film production life, I was taught. And I mean, I also do believe that this certain terms that we have, like director of photography, DOP, the director, or like, you know, the key grips and stuff like that, right? These are designations, titles that are given by the industry to you. Like you are kind of recognized it because of the skills that you have. Whereas now we have like, I'm sorry to say, but a lot of like 20, 30-year-olds coming out and then like they just hold a camera, slap a like blue and orange filter on, a LUT on, that kind of thing. And then they're like, oh, I'm a cinematographer. Or, you know, like shoot in that
like a bit
very wide aspect
cringe,
ratio.
a bit.
Yeah, so I felt like this term is kind of overused now. And it's kind of improperly designated per se. Like it's not a term that you give yourself. It's a term that people give to you. So I feel like you kind of have to earn it through your accolades, through your works.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I mean, one, that's the naming of the whole thing, but like given how now equipment has progressed a lot better, I feel it's, I still feel it's a good thing that more people can actually start to shoot. Although yes, it does hurt my rice bowl quite a bit. Budgets are shrinking by a lot. But at the same time, it's us learning how to adapt, right? We can be like this, then get back to the whole like mindset and value systems that we have.
Yeah.
Like if we are like fixated on what we want to do and we are like grumpy about it, they're like, hey, you know, like why are people entering my industry? Like it was like, you know, we had to do this last time. It was so difficult to become an editor last time and stuff like that. And then like now, like anybody can just pick it up. But like, hey, on the brighter side, now it's like anybody can pick up like editing just through watching YouTube videos. Like that was exactly how I started also. And I think like that is still a benefit because that allows more people to express themselves creatively, as well as, hey, if it's something that allows you to find yourself, why not, right?
And now it's time for some ads.
Okay, let me see your piece.
My piece seems quite pretty abstract.
Oh, yeah, so
Yes.
that squiggles, it's like, I see a lot of lines and everything.
Yes, it's a very pure abstract kind of expression, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't have any true form to it, but then
Yeah.
it's a essence
I
of
see.
what I'm feeling at the moment. Right, so does
Okay.
this remind you of anything?
Yeah, it does. Actually, it's our other sponsor.
Okay.
Right, and they're called Splatterhouse Paint, you know. So, sorry, Splat Paint House.
Splat Paint House,
And then when
okay.
I went to learn and look at it, right, the thought that came to mind was like, oh, actually, it's a very safe version of, you know, those places where they try to vent their anger. What, throw X brick plates. But this one is...
Throw paint.
Yeah, you throw paint.
Wow.
You splatter it anywhere. Their studio is made to paint proof their walls. They give you a poncho to wear, and then depending on the different package
Wow.
you buy, right, you get different size canvas, right? So you can do individual work. I saw some of the videos. It's quite exciting. You can do like maybe a baseline. You want to do some proper painting first,
Right.
But then the aim is to make sure you have a segment of the time where you go just
Yes, like really a way to vent and express your energy out.
That's right.
Right.
Right. And then they have some very cool things as well. Like you can do the same kind of technique on a tote bag, so you have something to take home other than just the
cool.
artwork. I also saw they have like UV sessions. So that one is more rare. So they darken the room and you use special UV paint.
I think they're
instead.
the only one in Singapore who does that.
I think so too.
Right? I think I have a recollection of
Yeah.
it.
So I mean, for me, when I looked at it, I was like, hey, quite cool. So you go in, the studio is meant to be messed up. So
Okay.
it's such a free space for
Wow,
expression.
okay. So what are they giving or like
Yeah. So because the main thing that they're selling is actually their time, right? So you book time and you book sessions with them. So they're also very cool. You can code CYT when during the booking process for 10% off anything on their store, right? And actually what's on their store is mainly the different types of workshops.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
sounds exciting. We should go sometime.
Yeah, we should go. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the very artistic kind of area for this season.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now back to the rest of the episode.
It's interesting. I mean, honestly, I gotta say, that is a very noble approach for you to take. And that would largely boil down to ego and your emotional awareness and you being able to accept that, I think, is very big of you. Because even in my industry, where I started out as an MC and we get paid well to do what we do, public speaking, being able to facilitate an event.
Yeah.
You're not just, we've had to re-emphasize this to clients, right? You're not paying us for the 2 hours of our time.
Yes.
You're paying me for the last 10 years of experience of managing curveballs and different kind of events and
Yep.
different kind of interviewees. You're paying for the experience. And it's a concept that I've personally struggled with in the last 10 years, where with the rise of social media,
Yeah.
suddenly they don't necessarily want a skilled MC. 50% skill level is fine, but as long as they got 40,000 followers on Instagram, then they get free marketing budget.
Yep.
So it was just like, that's why I'm saying you are very, very noble, because it's almost like a jab in the heart. Like I've poured so much into this career in this industry and this life for you to just shut me out for numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then that is also the card that has been handed to us now, that we can't actually change
Yeah.
where the world is going, how the digital age is booming. There is always going to be another curveball.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that our ego doesn't take that hit and then we can just roll with the times
Yeah.
instead of being salty about it,
Yeah.
for the lack of a better
Yes,
term.
salty about, yeah.
Just being salty about it. Because then now we've got AI, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What's your take on AI? Because AI freaks me out completely.
Yeah, I think actually now I've seen a lot of the, it's getting really, really good. And I felt like with the growth of AI then allows, to me, I feel, people to start to find themselves more. Because
How
they're,
so?
because they're
Tell
starting
me
to,
more.
because I think like when they start to realize that their jobs can be easily replaced, then they're like, hey, you start to think about other stuff.
Yeah.
Just like how social media is like that. When it was not present then. I mean, okay, when it first came in, people started to realize, hey, I can just shoot your handphone, I can get away with certain stuff. I think the whole idea why our jobs were like, being, not say compromised, but like being, what do you call that term? Like being attacked per se.
Yeah.
I think like,
Devalued,
yeah.
maybe?
Yeah, it's because like people have social media allowed the idea that like people will start to think that, hey, I can do it myself too. Then I feel like once the idea is put in, then that's when the value starts to drop. the perceived value starts to drop.
Okay.
So I feel like in the same way with the AI coming in now, artificial intelligence coming in, then that is when people's jobs gets threatened. Threatened is the word. Haha.
Found it.
And then that is when people start to think like, hey, like what actually am I doing with my life? Then they start
Yeah.
questioning. And then they're like, hey, maybe I should be pursuing something that, makes me happier or gives me a greater sense of fulfillment. And I feel like with the whole like bitterness mentality also, with all this social media and AI coming in also, right? Is that, I base it off like just being people to people, just being happy that we are enjoying these people relationships that we have.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, all these like jobs, it's more of like a secular thing of like keeping the industry growing as well as, earning your money and whatnot. But like exactly how much is enough for us to actually live
Is it
by?
ever enough? That is the golden question.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because that feeling of me being salty about how it was going when, influencers were coming about back in the day. So I was like, oh, okay, so let me grow my following. So I did do the whole influencer route, sold my soul to social media. I'm not shy about it. And during COVID, it paid my bills. Because
Why not? Yeah.
we weren't getting live events.
Yeah. Yes.
A lot of productions were just not allowed to happen.
Yeah.
And then, funnily enough, a couple of weeks ago, I got asked to do a job because the initial person they wanted wasn't free. So someone had reached out and they were like, actually, Barbara's not very active on social media anymore.
Oh, okay.
We want someone who is more active on that aspect. And that's when I realized I'm actually not bothered by it now. I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. I'm okay. If you don't want to get me for this event because I'm not active on social media, that is my prerogative.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely your prerogative.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I want the client to be able to get what they want.
Yeah.
And if I can't provide that, I have no issue. So when I moved when I was living in Singapore, I was posting like all the time. We had the reels going on and, all the sponsored videos. And I actually really enjoyed the DIY production side of that because I've been on set a lot. I used to do a lot of kids shows.
Oh, wow.
And in the same way that, you went out of, you realize like, hey, I think what I'm doing right now is not serving me at the agency. Let me say yes to something else. That doesn't necessarily mean constantly saying yes to everything and making sure that you are doing it without your research or, having a proper plan, or just making sure that you're covering all your bases, that you are going to make yourself happy, but you are also going to be financially protected. It needs to be a practical choice, right? Not just like, hey, let's YOLO our way through life. That's really not the way the world works. But then when I moved to Melbourne, I realized, okay, now I have a partner to take care of. I have a dog to take care of. I have a home to take care of. I have things to do. Yeah. I want to cook meals. I don't have a domestic helper like how my parents do. Yeah. To come home, dinner is cooked. And, I'm living this proper adulting independent life. Yeah. My days look pretty similar. I'm not going to be putting out all that content on social media. Yeah. There is a level of privacy that I now really enjoy, that people don't know where I am. They don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And I have to respect my future husband's privacy as well. He's not a social person. He doesn't like blasting out what we're doing. And I found that actually gave me a lot more inner peace, because I got very accustomed to whatever I do and whatever I post, there has to be a reason behind it and there has to be a meaning behind it. Yeah. No, sometimes I just want to spend 3 hours on the couch with my dog. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. there doesn't have to be a meaning and a purpose and a drive behind everything.
Yeah.
But I am so much more happier. I'm so much more at peace with myself. I call it, I'm now in my soft girl era.
Soft girl.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I had my hustle.
Yeah.
You know, I worked really hard when I was in my 20s. And that's not to say I'm done with my career,
Yeah.
but the landscape looks different now.
Yeah.
How I approach things is so different now.
Yeah, yeah.
I am very picky with the jobs that I choose, where I know that I'm going to be engaged by clients who value what I can bring to the table, my
Yeah.
expertise. And it's just more fun. I shifted industries. I went into hospitality. I worked in the
wow.
bar and the restaurant. Like, really went from, I'll have a gin and tonic, please, to someone asked me for a scotch and dry. And I'm like, which one is the scotch? I don't know. I don't know the difference between a scotch and a bourbon, but it served me. I was craving human contact in a country where I didn't know a lot of people. A lot of the people that I was hanging out with were my partner's friends. My core social circle is back here. So it was really like starting from scratch again in my 30s, trying to refine myself. And what is my purpose? What do I like? What do I not like? I really enjoy supporting my man in his business and
Wow.
what he brings to the table. And I enjoy the fact that I am able to come home to Singapore for work and see all my regular clients, see my family, you know, people who live overseas for work or just move countries. They usually come back like once a year,
Okay.
right? I'm back in Singapore at least 3 to 4 months of the year, accumulatively. So I understand that I am extremely blessed in that aspect to almost be able to live a double life. I get the freedom to do these jobs that I want, but I also get, you know, a completely different taste of life in Australia. Would you guys ever consider moving?
I did consider before actually, but then after that, then that's when I decided to, hey, yeah, I did consider before, but I don't know why. Yeah, it just didn't happen in the end. Yeah, and I think like about what you mentioned also about the like having a different perspective, like how the landscape has changed. I thought that was pretty interesting because, like, on one hand, I felt like it didn't really change much, but it's and I mean, I also felt the same way that the landscape is changing.
Yeah.
And like, although nothing much has actually changed, but it's our own perception because because we learned something ourselves, our self-awareness has changed.
We did the
That's
groundwork
why.
for it.
Yeah, and then that's when we realized that like, hey, our eyesight changed, our vision changed about like how the landscape is like. And I think like about how you mentioned also about the social media stuff. I think people don't, I myself, I'm also a micro influencer. So I also do, you know,
Get it.
quite a fair bit of all your reels and posts and whatnot. And people don't realize, right, that when the product is free, the product is you. So social media is free for everybody to use. So the product is you. So at the end of the day, how do you actually become happy about what you're actually doing? And I feel like back to the whole point about being like having and honoring people relationships. The part that people don't see on my social media a lot is actually the like the talks and the sharings and the non-stop chattings that I have with like all the new people and all the current people that I've met through social media. At events, whatnot, we just talk all the way to the point of totally forget about shooting. And then and like the event will finish and I'm like, oh no, shucks, I forgot to shoot anything, that kind of thing. But I think that's where the value lies to me about having nice and friendly people relationships and like just spending quality time with people. And then on the other hand, like to also, you know, fuel the social media giants, right? What we
Yes.
want to do is like, oh, maybe these thoughts did cross my mind that, you know, when I'm talking to people, then I'll start to, you know, like selfie the camera a bit, you know, like get a bit of footage of showing that like, hey, look at that, like, you know, I'm actually meeting my followers and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, I felt like by doing so, I start to get a bit more distracted. I mean, I tried those here and there a bit. I got distracted and I realized that I'm not able to spend quality time with them. then what's the point in the first place? So that's why I ended up ditching the whole idea and just talking to people.
Being present.
Yeah, being present in the moment. And just like learning and catching up with people, like, hey, like, and showing that they're, doing pretty okay. Because at the end of the day, I feel like, yes, a job is a job. We do it, we make buck, we earn money, we can feed ourselves, feed our kids, feed our dogs. I don't have a dog.
This guy.
But like at the end of the day, people relations are still the more important part. Yeah, caring about people's
How do you create that balance between what you post online? Because and let's be honest, right? When it comes to Instagram, TikTok, stuff like this, a lot of what we see online is not what happens in real life, behind closed doors.
Yeah.
As someone who I feel is extremely authentic, right? You're a very real person and I've enjoyed talking to you so much. How do you create that balance with people who follow you because they enjoy your content, but also making sure that you're not kind of sacrificing your own authenticity in what you put out versus what is also there for branding? Because branding is branding.
Yeah.
Instagram, all these reels and stuff like that, it's the way to go. It's the new marketing platform that's not even that new anymore, but it's where it is.
Yeah. I think I feel the issue is that when we are genuine on social media, I feel honestly speaking, it's not going to bring us the numbers. It's not going to so.
It's a hard truth.
Yeah. Yes, it really is. I mean, and I feel like to a certain extent, we have to get acceptable with that. If we can come to terms that we're not going to have a crazy high number of follower counts, then I'd say
it's okay lah.
Yeah, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, social media is there, right? But hey, and the numbers are there, I got 100,000 followers and things like that. But what if, one day someone decides to, trip over a few undersea cables and then boom, social media is gone, right? Then what is the value of your life?
What would you do?
Yeah. Or I think one important thing I felt was that when I felt sick also during work, my colleagues will always ask me, hey, when can you come back to work? My bosses will ask me, hey, there's a project that really needs your help and stuff like that. But when I really, really felt sick and I ended up visiting the hospital, the people who stood by me were my church friends as well as my friends and family. And I realized that when I worked my ass off, these were the people that I spent the least time with. Then, that starts you questioning about your whole life. Hey, are you actually spending time with the right people? Or how are you actually allocating your time?
Yeah.
So then that started to get me questioning which is why I started out to do my own business now.
Yeah.
It's because I really wanted to spend more time with friends and family. And I think at the start, then it will be a bit more challenging, I'd say. I quarrel a lot more with my mom, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because you spend more you spend more time, right? And I mean,
time that you haven't spent that much with in the last few years.
And it is statistically proven that during COVID, a lot more families, there were a lot more family issues that suddenly came up and family violence and whatnot. And it shows, right? But at the same time, out of that violence and that inability to see eye to eye sometimes, then that is when we need to grow our own understanding and love.
You think it almost forced us to have better conversations or to learn how to communicate better?
Yeah. And I feel I think my self-group leader shared a pretty powerful phrase, which is to learn how to love people better. Mm-hmm. Sometimes some people can be harder to love, right? I mean, and sometimes, for example, if we have certain, even special needs people, not everybody understands special needs people, are able to work around special needs people. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's actually on us to learn how we can love each and every person better, to learn that part. So the fact that we cannot talk to them properly or lash out at people is because we are not talking out of love.
Dropping some truth bombs right there.
Yeah, so I feel from what we've learned today, it's really a lot about learning how to love people better and coming to terms with ourselves, having the
Agreed.
self-awareness. And at the end of the day, yes, we can lash out at one another, and we can have that barriers down. But at the end of the day, with these barriers down, how are we actually treating each other? Like, it doesn't mean that, with these barriers down, and then I get to scold you and say all the nasty words and be as what do you call it? I wouldn't want to say as uncouth as possible, that kind of thing.
But harsh.
Yeah, as harsh, because that might be words that you mean, but there are always ways to go around saying it. You can always speak out of love.
And I think one of the things that I've learned from our conversation today was changes will always happen.
Yeah.
And, we've got to roll with the punches but also making sure that, yes, while we are taking stock and loving other people and loving other people better and learning how to love people better, learning how to take stock of our own emotions and understanding that things will change, man. So as these changes go, instead of holding on to resentment and being salty and egoistic about things, learning what serves us at different phases in our lives and how we can grow from that.
Yeah. So I think I really enjoyed talking with you in this session, Barbara. Yeah, it's really, really encouraging, I'd say, to hear from fellow people that are also, going through hard times but learning how to stay above it all. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in to this current podcast, the Clean Your Toilet podcast. So your transformation starts with inner work. So hey, it's up to you to take the first step. See you guys. Bye.